name's Katie. Welcome to my channel. This is definitely different for me, so sorry if this seems awkward because I am pretty awkward anyway. But yeah. Anyway, welcome to my channel. I am definitely gonna touch on a lot of different things: trauma, being sick, rape, murder, deployments as a spouse, having a child with autism and intellectual disability, and some tips and tricks maybe as far as, how to help your child, because I have also worked in a center school for autism, so I know some extra tips and tricks maybe that I've learned along the ways that way, or just being a mom, because my kiddo's 10. It's not that old, but I think I've learned some stuff. I've had a few brain surgeries. My head is screwed on. I've had 5 abdominal surgeries. I'm actually going in for another surgery on Thursday, a hysterectomy. And I'm pretty nervous, but I think it will be better for me because I, really, really super heavy flows. And it's not good because I'm anemic too. So every month I feel like I'm dying. I'll be looking forward to not dying every month. But yeah, so I have EDS, which is Ehlers-Danlos, the hypermobility type. There's no genetic biomarker, but they're still searching every day. There's several different kinds of Ehlers-Danlos. The type that I have causes, soft, stretchy skin, faulty collagen production. It actually caused the reason for me needing my brain surgery is because it caused deterioration of my vertebral junction, and it deteriorated my cervical spine and caused Chiari malformation. So it caused my brain to protrude, or my cerebellar tonsils, which is the back of my brain. It herniated down into my spinal column and blocked up the fluid. And also at the same time, I had what's called basilar invagation. And that, bent my brainstem to do this, which then caused me to become paralyzed and, from the waist down for a couple years. And I've had some pretty intense stuff happen in that meantime. I couldn't hold my head up. I had 3 mini strokes. I was in a wheelchair. I'm doing a lot better now, but from then and now, I've had 3 surgeries because of some issues. And, every day's a learning curve, and I just keep fighting because I refuse to quit. So that's the purpose of this channel, is to try to help other people who just need somebody to relate to, somebody to talk to. I also wanted to make it clear that you can have EDS and be obese, because I am not skinny. I don't know if maybe you think I'm skinny from the looks here, but I've had gastric bypass surgery. I was once 327 pounds at my heaviest, and I lost a lot of weight, over 100 pounds. And yeah, I definitely want to make it clear that you can have EDS and be obese, just so that's clear. And yeah, I just want to make it clear I am not skinny, so that way it's known. And those of you out there that are, suspecting you have Ehlers-Danlos and are being told that, you can't because you're obese, that's a load of bullshit. And, there's no way that they could be right. So, yeah, I will definitely, put in a lot more info, and I can even load proof on my channel. But as of right now, this is going to be my intro, so I want to just kind of keep it at that. And I wanted to make sure that that was mentioned in my first video, because it was a big motivation to start this, is the need for somebody who is or has been obese and has Ehlers-Danlos. I also wanted to touch on, homicide. I don't really like talking about it much, but I think, in this sense, because I'm talking directly to you guys in the camera and it's not talking face to face to somebody, maybe it won't be as bad. So, my mom was brutally murdered when I was 18 years old. I guess I'll get more into that another time, but the person who, killed her was acquitted. It was very similar to the O.J. Simpson case, believe it or not. I will definitely load a lot more info on that another time, another day, because that is a whole lot to talk about. And yeah, that took a lot of healing. I'm 33 now, and I was 18 years old when that happened, and it still haunts me every day. I sat alone in a courtroom for 3 weeks, and I have 2 older sisters, but they were witnesses, so I had to sit there, and I wasn't allowed to tell anybody anything when I came out during breaks. Even when they asked, I had to make pretend and say things like, the sky is blue, or stupid things that made no sense because, I wasn't allowed to talk about it. And that sucked, all for him to be acquitted. So yeah, that's one thing to touch on. I was also sexually abused when I was a little girl by 2 different men, and one of them is dead now. The other is a level 3 sex offender, so I understand that aspect. I was 5 years old, during one of the incidences, and it was a guy my mom was dating that lived with us. It really sucked to go through that as a kid and not be believed even back then. So, not until I was much older. And then again, I think it started when I was 11 to 15. And yeah, I finally said something to a friend. They forced me to tell my mom, and she went nuts, and the guy got arrested. So that's good. But I think he's out now. He followed me around a store one day, which was pretty scary. And I don't really want to talk too much about him itself, but the trauma that it's done to me is pretty intense. And if that's something anybody wants me to touch on more, I can, because I understand that needs to be talked about too. When I was going through these things, I didn't feel that there were many people out there that I could relate to, and I tried talking to a lot of people, but I lost a lot of people in my life. I lost friends, and I lost, some of the closest people and relationships because I felt so distant from everybody. I felt like so many people couldn't understand what it was possibly like to go through what I was going through. And it really sucked. And, another thing I want to talk about is growing up, my mom had a drug problem. She was addicted to crack. And I remember, actually her showing me, what her rock looked like. And, where she hid her can that she smoked it out of. And that was something definitely, growing up with nothing and no electricity, no heat, no clothing, no food. It was really hard because, my mom would get paid and the drug dealer would come and she'd sign her check and hand it away. So growing up poor, growing up where she would disappear for weeks on end, and my older sister would take care of us for a long time, But anyway, enough of that. I did forgive my mom, and then she got sober. I forgave her, and then she was murdered, and that really sucks. And I think that's why it hurts me so much, and that's one of the biggest things is after all that time, after all the trauma, and everything I went through in my lifetime, I forgave her for all of it. And, then somebody took her away when she was trying to do the right thing and trying to finally be a mom. I was 18, but still, it sucked. And it still does suck because now I'm a mom, and it puts so many things into perspective. Like, I don't believe in a lot of things because of my upbringing, and I want so much more for my children. I am a helicopter mom, and I strive so hard to fight for my life because I don't want my daughters. I have 2 daughters, but I don't want my daughters to know the pain. What it's like to not have a mom, or what it's like to have a mom who's doped up and not around. So yeah, I just get by day, and life is tough, and it's fucking hard. So I wanted to reach out to you guys, the ones that are out there that haven't made a connection with somebody, or don't feel like there's anybody out there who understands. You're not alone, and that was the purpose of me doing this, is to reach out, and I hope I can do that. So thanks, and please subscribe. I'll have a lot more to talk about and more to come. Please leave in the comments any recommendations or suggestions of things that you would like to talk about. I can touch on literally any subject. I quit opioids cold turkey because I didn't want to be like my mom. I want to be better. And I have a daughter who has autism, and I worked in a special needs school, and as a parent liaison, helping other parents navigate the journeys of autism, because when I got sick, I obsessed. When I got sick, my daughter was obsessed. I'm so sorry. I said the wrong word. That happens sometimes, and it will happen. And we're just going to roll with it. So when I got sick, my daughter was diagnosed. My husband just got back from deployment. Shit was rough. And we got through it. But I was bedbound at the time. I had 3 mini strokes in a few months span, so I got really sick really fast. And he had just gotten back from being gone for a year, so it was tough. It was really tough. And then my kiddo was diagnosed with autism all in the same time, and we were just hit with a shitstorm of issues. So I put myself into a hardcore, let's do everything we can to help my daughter mode, and I did that. I studied everything I could and tried to go, 40 plus hours a week of early intervention at 2 years old for her. And I read and studied everything I possibly could, and I've done extra activities from hippotherapy to gymnastics to swim lessons to swim groups to movie nights and ABA at home and counseling and psychiatry and center schools or inclusive or half in half out programs. And I can tell you right now, she's doing the best she's ever done as far as in school or even behavioral. And, we probably will have ABA again, but right now we're just rolling with it. And life is life, but my kiddo's pretty awesome. But, so that's autism and deployment and getting sick and my mom, and I have 2 older sisters. I have 7 aunts and uncles, and several of them have passed away, unfortunately, and they're missed very much with my mom. So, yeah, let's do this. And like I said, please subscribe and let me know what you would like me to talk about. Thanks. Bye.